All right, good day. It is Tuesday, December 15th, and welcome to another Tuesday with Thom. This Tuesday with Thom is special. It is different. It's going to be a little unique. I call this Tuesday show the Holiday Reunion. This episode of TWT, of course, is brought to you by our partners, the Best Girl Consulting Firm. Best Girl consults with utilities, higher ed institutions, associations, and large nonprofits to customize solutions that support your bottom line. Today's show I'm excited about. Can't you tell? It is the reunion show, the reunion of the pioneers. Now, on this show, I and you get to reunite with the guys that I was fortunate enough to play ball with and who were some of the original pioneer black football players in the Southeastern Conference and at Auburn University. We were the first, and of course, plenty of stories come with being the first. Some of them we can tell you, some of them we can't. But for some of us, it's been too many years since we've been able to get together and see each other. For a couple of us, it's been like 30 years. We're going to laugh and remember the many things that happened in that snapshot of our lives. The pioneers who are supposed to be here, a couple of them are here. It's Mitzi Jackson, Secedrick McIntyre, Sullivan Walker, and Reese McCall. Well, we've got Reese, we've got Mitzi, and we're looking for Secedrick and Sullivan. And these are the black athletes that play football. Shug Jordan. Now, you guys, Shug Jordan coached at Auburn for 25 years. He's in the College Football Hall of Fame. He had a Heisman Trophy winner. He won a national championship. But in his own way, he led the way in the Southeastern Conference to athletic integration. As I said, the blacks who we have here today were the ones, including James Owens, who played for Shug Jordan. James Owens was first, of course. He was Daddy Owens. We all referred to him as Daddy. And we'll probably share a few stories about Daddy today. So, moving on. Next week's show, December 22nd, will be our final show of the year. Don't forget that Santa will be here next week. Not only will Santa be here, I should clarify and tell you that he is a singing Santa. And so Singing Santa will be here singing some of your favorite Christmas songs. He's good, too, I understand. Also, along with Singing Santa, Eric Jones is back with the 25 Songs of Christmas. He'll give us the history of some of the songs that Santa sings for us. And don't forget, next week's Tuesdays with Thom, December 22nd, is another audience participation day. So be prepared to contact us regarding your favorite songs, movies, and stories. Okay. So Barbara Wallace Edwards and Mychal Walker are here. Our G-list guests today, I already mentioned Mitzi Jackson, Secedrick McIntyre, Sullivan Walker, and Reese McCall. And so I will now introduce our two roundtable guests, Barbara Wallace Edwards and Mychal Walker. Barbara Wallace Edwards, as you know, is retired from Blue Cross Blue Shield in Birmingham. Barbara, how are you doing today?
Good morning, Thom. I am doing well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's a good day. It's close to Christmas, and I'm looking forward to it. It's been a different year, a different type of holiday season. But, you know, the holidays are always the holidays, and they're always fun, and it's always great to be in the holiday mood.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I got some Christmas decorations up now. I think I'm finally getting in the Christmas spirit. Got rid of that crud I was dealing with for the last 2 or 3 weeks. So, yeah, it's going to be a great Christmas.
Well, good deal. Good deal. Let's get Mychal Walker on here. Mychal Walker with the Walker Insurance Agency. How are you this morning, Mychal?
I am doing well, Thom. How are you? How are you, Barbara? I hope you both are doing well.
Doing great. Thank you.
I'm doing great. What's happening in your world, Mychal?
Well, I got to tell you a little bit because we always have this little segment we talk about health insurance. And I would just tell you that the insurance companies have made a lot of money during COVID. The reason being is because a lot of people put off elective surgeries, put off going to the doctor and what have you. And as a result, the insurance company saved a lot of money. Now, they anticipate that they may have that offset next year as people start to come back and take care of things they didn't take care of during COVID. And just to give you an idea, United Healthcare said they expect a negative effect of $1.80 per share because of increased COVID-19 and testing costs. However, they said next year that will be offset because of their Medicare Advantage business, and they anticipate it will earn $16.90 to $17.40 per share, up 8% the year before.
Wow.
The other thing that's coming in is that a lot of other companies are trying to get involved. You know, CVS purchased Aetna. Well, Amazon is going to get into the healthcare marketplace, and they're going to try to come in on the prescription drug services end of it. So it's going to be like the Wild Wild West when it comes to that. However, Amazon does not have the infrastructure, so they're piggybacking off a Cigna subsidiary inside RX to manage their discount drug program.
Well, let me ask you a question. How does this affect smaller insurance agencies such as yourself?
Well, as far as myself, because I'm more like a marketing company or distribution, it really won't impact me too much because I'm appointed with United Healthcare. I represent them. I represent all the major carriers. So especially when it comes to the Medicare part of my business, that part will be solid. And then a lot of companies that are coming in, as a matter of fact, you asked that question. Google has a company called Clover that they backed to get into the Medicare space this year. And they were parked inside of Walmart selling Medicare and enrolling people. Well, I'm appointed by Clover as well. So they still use the distribution channels of agents such as myself from that standpoint. So it shouldn't impact me much at all.
Okay, Barbara, you got anything new for us?
I do, Tom. I've spent the last couple of days answering inquiries about this article that appeared in Inside Higher Ed regarding Auburn and the lack of diversity at Auburn. So it's been a busy couple of days for me. It's like I've been back at work again. So I shared that article with the two of you. I hope you had an opportunity to read through it. There was a lot of interesting information there.
It was very interesting. Similar to articles that occurred almost 40 years ago.
Yeah, and
pretty much around the same issues.
Yeah, and it's a shame that back in the 70s we were dealing with the same issues that students are dealing with at Auburn today. Lack of diversity. The state of Alabama's black population is hovering around 25-26%, and the black student population at Auburn is somewhere around 4.5%, and that's sad in the year 2020 that we're still dealing with that type of thing. Mychal, did you get a chance to read that article?
I did, Barbara, and I thought it was well written. I thought it was hard hitting and it was accurate. It didn't pull any punches. When you and Thom both say that we're still dealing with the same thing, it lends credence to that old adage: the more things change, the more things stay the same. And that's what I thought about in reading that article. And it's disappointing. And as a matter of fact, what I did know is that since 2013, Black student population in Auburn has decreased in the last 7 years.
Yes.
And back when we were there, it was less than 1% or somewhere in that neighborhood,
Right.
And, I was real excited 3 or 4 years ago when we went back for a reunion and the population had increased. But now since then, it's decreased and it's on a steadily decline.
Steady decline, absolutely, which is major. And when you have an Office of Inclusion and Diversity on campus, and people that's really supposed to be looking into those numbers, and the numbers are still decreasing, that is truly a major concern. So there's a group of concerned Black alums that are really focusing on that issues, working with some students, with some faculty, trying to address some of the things that may be a result of the lack of Black enrollment there at Auburn. So hopefully there are going to be some changes, although administration said they were making some changes last year, and they're actually touting that the numbers are increasing, but the numbers on OIR say differently. So there's definitely still a decline there, which is major. Tom, you were about to say something.
Yeah, I think I remember a few years ago, the issue came up with the War Eagle Society.
Yes.
And whereas one of our alums, the illustrious Dwayne,
Yes.
had started basically another alumni association at that time.
Yes. Yes.
And there was a lot of rancor from the alumni association then, not the current alumni association. I want to point that out, which is fantastic. But the word, and I was involved in one of those meetings, and the word that the senior administrator said was, "We don't fight against each other. Let's find a way to work this out. Let's find a way so that Auburn wins, not that the administration win, the alumni win, but that Auburn
Right.
win."
Right.
I'm a little bit disappointed now that we haven't taken that approach, that it
Right.
seems to be adversarial.
Yes.
The alumni are bad because they're raising these issues. Why we collectively can't sit down and solve this? Because when people bring you issues, and one of the things I've seen is that the issues have been brought forward, and rather than propose solutions to the issues, it's sort of been positioned that these people bringing the issues forward
are the problem.
they're not
Yeah.
Auburn.
Yeah.
And that's
that's
not the way I think let me finish, please. I don't think that's the way that we should behave as a university. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Barb.
No, I was going to say, that when the alums actually went to meet with the administration at Auburn, that was one of the things that was discussed is that we love Auburn. We want to see it be the best university in this country, not just in the state of Alabama. And so the concerns that we were bringing to the table were not to hurt Auburn, it's to help Auburn. And I'm not so sure that some others there at the university have taken it that way. It's almost like it's enemy territory, and we're trying to invade on enemy territory, and that's certainly not the case. Again, the issues that have been brought forth are to make Auburn a better place, not to cause any issues.
Mychal, let me just pitch one little thing in. I think from what I've observed, this is a 21st century issue. We can't deal with it with 20th century logic and leadership.
Absolutely.
We have to deal with it from a 21st century perspective, and hopefully that's what's going to happen. Go ahead, Mychal.
Well, I have a question, Barbara, and perhaps you can shed some light on this for me. We're talking about the decrease in minority students over the last several years. And in the article, it talked about diversity and inclusion. I guess I'm a little bit confused as to what is the mission of diversity and inclusion at Auburn. I know what it means overall, but at Auburn, what is their mission? What are their objectives? And why is it on a decline if you have an Office of Inclusion and Diversity? And also in the article, I saw where the person that wrote it said there's some calls for all the leadership in inclusion and diversity at Auburn to be terminated. Can you speak to that for a moment?
Absolutely, Mychal. That is one of the questions that has been asked of Auburn. What is the mission of Office of Inclusion and Diversity? And you can't get a clear answer. No one seems to really tell you. When you ask, what are the goals? What kind of goals do you have? When you go to their website, the goals are out there from like 2015. So there's no new goals. There were no new goals, no new missions. Even stated on their website, and when you ask them that question directly, you get no answer. You get a roundabout response, and that's not addressing the issues there. So no one really knows what their mission is. That's a very good question.
Let me propose a question to the both of you as alums. If in fact you were asked to be a part of this solution to this issue, would that be something you'd be willing to step forward and do?
Most definitely.
Okay. Let me answer it by saying this. It would depend on the role that I was given the opportunity to play in it. And the reason why I say that, if I'm presented with an opportunity to play a role in which I can effectively implement change, then I would gladly accept it. But if it's just a role to be an advisory position and sit there and talk and have meeting after meeting, I don't have time to waste for that.
Okay. Barbara, would you like to comment further?
I would comment on that. Again, I don't mind being a part of the solution as long as Auburn is willing to implement those solutions. You know, we know in the past that there have been task force after task force, committee after committee set up to address issues. Recommendations are made, and then those are put on the shelf and never implemented. So we, as a group of alums, made recommendations to the university that would solve many of the problems that they have today. And as of yet, very few, if any of those, have been even considered, let alone implemented.
Well, I want to go back to something I said earlier. It's a 21st century issue. It's not going to go away.
Right.
It's something that's going to be discussed for some time now into the future. It's a 21st century issue. You are not going to solve it with 20th century solutions. And I'll just make one comment, because I don't think it's that difficult an issue to solve, to be honest with you, if you want to solve it. I think that I know those alums. I know the alums. They love the university. I know the administrators. They love the university. Then why aren't we sitting down working this out? And I'll just say one thing about the task force. In my opinion, that was not a good move, because there have been too many task force that didn't do anything. And so we're involved in a whatever diversity issue, Black Lives Matter issue, whatever we choose to call it. But we're not going to solve it doing what we've always done.
Right.
My opinion.
I agree.
You guys, I give you guys the last word on this.
I agree with you totally.
I second that. Absolutely. And the other thing is this. It's not going to be a quick fix solution. It's going to be a long-term solution. And Thom, you and I have talked about this before. You need to start recruiting minority students in elementary school, junior high school, indoctrinating them into the Auburn way and the opportunities that come with that. Don't just wait till they get to be a senior in high school and see what kind of grades they had and go out and say, hey, we want you to come to Auburn. It needs to be a long-term plan that's implemented over many years to affect positive change that's sustaining. And Auburn doesn't do that.
And I think the positive change that I've heard the alums refer to is cultural.
That's right.
It's a matter of the culture. And so we will continue to monitor the situation. We'll continue to talk about the situation, and if needed, hopefully we will help where we can.
Absolutely.
But I'm very much in agree. Go ahead, Mychal.
I'm just laughing, Thom, because in the chat box, somebody came up and said, Thom, can you coach? So I found it pretty funny.
I've got a coach. We got a coach on the show today in Mitzi Jackson, who actually won the state championship in basketball. I think it was at Lochapoka High School. So we'll ask him if he's willing to step up and coach. So any last words in this segment?
No,
just one last thing.
Good discussion. Go ahead, Bob.
Yes. No, I was just going to say, Mychal talked about, there's if we could build a pipeline and start maybe indoctrinating students at a very early age. We have a pipeline already in place in that the legacy. We have Auburn alums, we have children who have been groomed to be Auburn fans and love Auburn from birth, and yet the university doesn't even try to recruit those students. They don't offer them scholarship. They don't, they're not sending them letters from the university to try to get them to come to Auburn. So there's a built-in pipeline that is being totally disregarded right now.
And let me say this. You guys know I've been involved at the university for a long time. Love the university and would welcome anybody from the university that wants to come on the show and comment, whether they want to engage in a back and forth or whether they just want to chat and talk their side of the issue. Because as we all know, there are 2, 3, 4, 5 sides to every issue. And I'm sure that they see this issue differently. As I said, I've worked with many of them, hope to continue to work with them. And I'll just go back to what I heard one senior administrator say. And he said, Auburn people don't fight with each other. We sit down and we work it out. And I'm hoping that he will remember he said that, and that we can all sit down and come to some kind of conclusion that says we all love Auburn. And the thing about it is that we can all love it and love it differently because we probably see it differently. We have different relationships. Well, while we were there, we were affected in different ways. Some of the things that, I've never been to Tuma's Corner when they threw the toilet tissue after the game. Never been. Because when I was in school, and although we played after the games, sometimes that stuff at Tuma's got a little crazy. And especially if alcohol was involved, which it was back then. And so it was just in our best interest to not be in that environment. And so that's why I've never gone. Don't have anything against it. And so I see that through a different lens than somebody else sees it. And that's what I think diversity is. That's what I think it is. It's the fact that we can all see the same thing and see it differently. And how are we going to deal with that?
Yes. Okay.
We're going to move on to the our message from Best Girl. Emily, if you can roll that, please. Today's show is sponsored by Best Girl, Inc. What is Best Girl? Best Girl is a consulting firm that provides customized leadership, access, and inclusion. Today's show is sponsored by Best Girl, Inc. What is Best Girl? Best Girl is a consulting firm that provides customized leadership, access, and inclusion, public relations, communications, and organizational consulting services. Our clients include Fortune 500 companies, utilities, higher education institutions, small businesses, and associations. We have a team of consultants led by Joyce Gilly Gossom and Miss Emily Hedrick, and they partner with business and education business clients to promote organizational effectiveness and education, motivation, and leadership. Our customized consulting services include strategic planning, corporate communications, executive coaching, fundraising, and some economic development. All right. And now we're going to go to the G list, where everybody is a star. Hollywood has the A list, and here on Tuesdays with Thom, we have the G list. So our G list guests today, in order of their seniority in terms of being at Auburn, is Mitzi Jackson. I don't know if is Secedrick on?
Yeah, we're here.
Secedrick McIntyre. Is Sullivan on? Sullivan Walker. Sullivan Walker. I'm laughing because I hadn't seen Sullivan in a longer time, most of you guys. And Reese McCall. Welcome, guys. And everybody out there, these are the guys that I was fortunate enough to play with. We had a great time. And so I'm going to start with, let me see, Mitzi, you're the you're the second senior. I'm the senior. Mac's the next senior. Mac is Butterball. Sullivan, I'm sorry. We call Sullivan Butterball, everybody, and he goes by that name, so it's no offense. Right. And Reese, you're the baby in this group, huh?
Oh yeah. Always pulling up the end.
So let's just talk a little bit. Favorite stories. Mac, I got a story for you guys. I was watching the other. Somebody gave me my sisters. I saw my sister. They gave me all these old photos. You remember how Mr. King used to take photos of us or whatever. But there's a photo of this touchdown. Mac is running, and I'm trying to get him to lateral the ball to me because
it's like, please just block somebody.
Hey, you said a magic word, then say it.
Yeah.
Hey, but today, today they can hold, man. This is you just run down there and grab him, you know? It's different. Let's go ahead. What do you say, Reese?
Just long as you don't let the arms come out, you can get away with it.
Reese, you told a story about the first time you and I went to Tuskegee. You want to tell that story?
Oh yeah. When I went down there, I was kind of feeling a little homesick. You didn't see too many black women at Auburn. So you said, hey, let's go to ski. I said, what the heck? What ski is? So after practice, we went down there. And I said, man, I had never seen so many beautiful black women in all my life. They were from all over the world. So after that day, I was down there so much, the guy finally got the nerve to come over and ask me, why did I come out for the football team? I told him, I don't want me playing no rough sports. He said, I see you down here all the time, but I didn't tell him I went to Auburn. I just told him, I was like, I went to Tuskegee because I was down there just about every day after you showed me how to get down there. So he asked me to come out for the football team, but I told my mom to allow that.
You didn't tell him you was already on a football team.
No, I didn't. Hey, Thom, I had muscles coming out the heel. He just shook his head. He said, I don't know what he talking about, Tony.
So Mac, you were one of the you out of all of us, you're the one you and your son ended up playing at Auburn. What was that like for you?
Man, that was a trip. I had some issues when I left Auburn. And I had no idea this dude. He was like, Dad, I want to just go to Auburn. I'm like, what? Stubblefield come over here. And he's like, he was wanting to go to Auburn. And he said, well, look. And my son asked me, he said, well, I'd like to go to Auburn. He said, that's why I'm here. I'm offering you. He said, okay. I said, wait a minute. That's too fast.
Sorry. Come on. Somebody's got something on. Some other. There you go. Go ahead, Matt.
No, but that was his deal. And, going to Auburn, they didn't do me like they did Bo Nix, daddy. Because Bo Nix daddy on TV more than Bo is.
You were never on TV?
They didn't even know my son was my son. Somebody came up at the last minute to my Jarris McIntyre. Is that your son? I was like, oh, okay. We got this. I heard the earlier part of the discussion you had with Barbara and Mike. It's like how Auburn don't really recruit, their own. And it was the same thing. Joe Cribb's daughter was a heck of a softball player. Never got a call. He ended up going to North Carolina somewhere. But it's a different ball game nowadays because we love Auburn and Ashley, Christy, my wife Geraldine, and my son, and myself. There's 5 of us, and then they still send me stuff talking about sending some donations to Auburn. I'm like, what? You want me to pay again? So, but we do help out. We do help out. But you ask how it's like with my son and I going to Auburn and being that way. I don't think there's anybody else. Well, not black folks.
Not in our group, right?
In our group, right? That had a sibling to go to Auburn, like yourself.
and you both had great careers, so it was great.
We did okay. That concussion suit.
You're in the concussion suit.
Hey, he needed it. He don't think he is, but he needs it.
Hey, Thom.
Uh-huh.
Mac had Jerry's on the helmet at 3 years old. He ran on my boy.
I remember that. Sullivan, how you doing, brother?
It's fine, man.
Sullivan and Matt came the same year and were roommates, and then Mitzi and I were in the other room, so we were all kind of together there. That was right before Reese got there.
Yeah. In the same suite.
Yeah, that was the community suite.
Yeah, we did. Ball, how you been, man? It's been a long time.
It's good to see you. It's good to see you, Sullivan.
Hey, brothers, how y'all doing? Y'all know the shit call me Ball, Butterball.
Yeah. Ball, tell us how you got that name, man. How you got the name Butterball?
It looked like no Butterball.
The day I was born in the world, I was so big to my mama and brother called me, that's a Butterball there, and they've been calling that ever since.
You've been Butterball ever since, huh?
Butterball all his life.
Oh. And then we got Mitzi and Javo Jackson.
Yes,
What's going on,
That would be me, brother.
Yeah, I hear you.
Everything's lovely, man. I'm just sitting back observing all this, man. It's been a while since we've been together. But we talking about that diversity thing at Auburn, man. I've just sit back absorbing all of this, man. The problems that we went through at Auburn and how we succeeded and overcame all that stuff. That's just amazing to me, man. I reach out and I talk to excuse me.
Go ahead, Jeff. Go ahead. You good?
I was saying I reach out and talk to all the brothers and stuff. Just a couple of weeks ago, I was talking with Harvey Glantz, and I was listening to what you and Barbara and Mike were saying earlier about the diversity on campus there. Harvey is pretty, I should say, he has a bad taste in his mouth about Auburn University, and I can see why. Because they put him in a closet. I mean, you go down the hallway, his little office was a closet. And he left there and went to University of Alabama. And it was just like day and night. And the people at Auburn, everybody know Harvey. They know all his accomplishments and everything. But it took Alabama, it took him going away for other people to appreciate him. Yeah. And that's one of the problems that we're having at the university there. And by me being a teacher, and I was listening to Mike and Barbara and all you guys saying that recruiting, I never, out of all the career days that I attended, I never seen an Auburn University but one time at the schools that I was at. And that's sad.
You've been at Jackson Olin,
Inslee High School.
Inslee High School, yeah.
Lochapoka.
Yeah.
Lochapoka is only 3 miles from Auburn.
Yeah.
And it's just sad, man, to sit back and see. I know what we went through, but to hear you guys and say the same thing is happening today at Auburn University, man, that's sad.
Mm-hmm.
I hear you.
So I'm just sitting back observing all this, man. Enjoy being with you guys again, man. I got pictures of stuff I said. I got pictures of Reese, Butterball. I have to go to my mother's house and pick up all the rest of them. But man, I have so many pictures of you guys. It's unreal.
I picked up some. My sisters, like to say, gave me some last week, and some of them were really good memories. Some of them were memories that didn't make you too happy, you know?
Yeah.
I was reading one story about the Sun Bowl, and they talked about the one bright spot was Phil Gargers, who threw two touchdown passes. It was like, well, okay, well, who caught him? Did he just throw him to himself? You know? And we always talk a little slighted. Go ahead, man.
Don't think about it like when we're playing Tennessee.
Yeah.
And hey, the three of us in the huddle at the same time. That was the first time that ever happened. Yeah, they didn't want to take no whooping like they did the year before. They get in there and go, he's going to run the ball all the way to the 1 yard line. And then we got Kenny Burke. Kenny Burke got 6 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns.
That's right.
A brand new bet.
Right, and a brand new orange Corvette.
On the Monday after the game.
Yeah. No, I think it was like the day that was like that Sunday. We were going over to the Coliseum to watch film. Yeah, Kenny Burke got him an orange Corvette. Yeah.
Oh, you guys remember Tim Lacey, don't you? Tim said, "Hey, Mitzi said Reese and Sullivan." Yeah,
Tim, how you doing, man?
Yeah, Tim's always one of the good guys. He's great. I just want to say something. You know, we had a thing last fall where a lot of the guys came back, and AJ, Crump.
Oh yeah.
A lot. William, Mac, you were there. I'm trying to think of who all was there.
Gary Reddy was there.
Yeah, Gary. I hadn't seen Gary, man, since since college. And I just like to make a comment. 2 guys we lost recently, Eddie Johnson and Willie Smith. Two great athletes who are no longer with us.
That's true.
Kind of a tough situation. So anyway, so I tell you, so let's go to tell me what you guys think about the move on Malzahn.
Hallelujah.
Well, we know how Mitzi feels.
It's hard to feel sorry for a man making $7 million a year, Tom.
Yeah, it is.
Hey,
I don't think he's gonna go hungry. He's gonna be all right.
Go ahead. What you say, Sullivan?
I said I eat me and Miss on that too, you know. Because I
Yeah,
have to face a lot of people around here talking about, what about Auburn coaches? They should have been got rid of, man. We can't stand them 3 and 4 losses a year for the last 3 or 4 years in a row.
Yeah.
What was the biggest issue you guys think? Was it the offense?
Sugar Huddle.
The Sugar Huddle.
Sugar Huddle.
Yeah.
I never understood the Sugar Huddle. What was that about?
I never understood why they had the little dude that go over there and then start bouncing in the backfield. You know he's gonna get the ball, right? or just fake get a ball to somebody and then act like you're gonna throw a pass. I'm like, bro, I'm like, who does that?
Well, but they're good.
Man.
I had to say about Gus. Gus was a good coach for about a year, and then everybody figured out what he was doing. So 2 of my best buddies lost their job this year, Gus and Trump. So
you're not gonna lose any sleep over it.
No, I'm not. Not at all.
But on a more personal note, Tom, when I got all y'all together, I got a chance to hook up with Sullivan, Butterball, when Missy got hurt.
That's right.
He took me and Johnny Davis. And I thank Johnny Davis for telling me he was going to Alabama. So I said, damn, I'm going to Auburn because I want to be able to play. He told me that time, Butterball took us out because Missy got hurt. I was supposed to be with Mrs., but I got a chance to hook up with Butterball. Oh, yeah, I'm still waiting on my money too, Butterball. I thought I got some money or something. But anyway, I'm just on a personal note. You, Mac, Mitzi, all y'all have a profound effect on me going to Auburn because, like I said, y'all been on backwards to make sure I was taking care of y'all. Y'all helped me in the kind of way I needed help. So while I got all y'all together, I just wanted to thank y'all.
Well, yeah. we when I reached, you was pretty famous for your fights on the field.
That's why I ain't got no white friend now. Yeah,
You didn't fight in the game though, but you fought in practice.
Yeah.
Hey, Tom. Hey, Reese was over there in the room by himself, and he had like 2 little speakers, and you know, everybody was trying to play some loud music. And him and Kim Sellers got into it, and I was over there, get Reese, and Kim like, Matt, why you egging him on? You know, waiting on like he beat somebody's dog or something. I'm like,
Hey, when he was fighting Louis Crawl, he took that elbow pad and slid it down on his fist.
I don't know why he tried to pick on me. I was quiet, but he just straight down there. When you
Hey guys, I'll say I know you guys all feel pretty much the same about this, but Coach Morris passed about
I heard about that.
A month or so ago, and you know I think all the brothers love Coach Morris. He was
Coach Morris. He was the one that recruited me in Butterball.
That's right.
Coach Morris. Yeah, Coach Morris was straight up, man.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
You remember I never practiced that day. Big Fletcher kept missing the block, and Coach Marvin looked at me. God damn it, Fletcher, you ain't what today? You dropped out your mama womb. me and Sid looked at each other. Man, the man talk to you like that.
Coach Morris.
Coach Morris told him, he said, "Stop walking around like you're stepping over eggshells." I was like,
you remember lay out like a cut dog? You got to lay out, son. Lay out like a cut dog.
Hey, Sid, I got a good one for us, man. You remember after we first scrimmaged against the freshman team?
Yeah.
And you and I came back, and you was on one bed, and I was on my bed. We looked at each other, and we said about the same time, man, we need to be with them freshmen because they tore our ass up out there today.
You know, I wanna bring some mention to. There were other guys who were there. Some of them got a chance to play, and some of them didn't. But I remember John Modis and Clayton Kellum.
Yeah.
Didn't McBride play? Safety.
He tried.
Played, didn't he? Yeah. And Jimmy Brock. So a lot of guys were there, and they guys who probably could have played, but maybe didn't for whatever reason. Mm-hmm. And I think all you guys, except for Mitzi, was gone when the Big O was there. But Big O paved the way for us.
Yeah, but we was recruited. Cedric and I, we was recruited. We came on and saw Big O play. He was at some of the games. You remember that, Sid?
Yeah.
Remember when Big O had got his leg broke? I'll never forget that. He was sitting up on the bed with that big old cast on his leg.
Oh, that's right. So, yeah.
Well, hey, Ball, you remember the time we were up there at Sewell Hall, and James and Thom was sitting there talking about, it's like, man, we coming to Auburn. He said, man, y'all need to go to Florida. I was like, we should have taken heed. But we still ended up. I was telling James' wife the same day. I said, well, the first time he said, man, you don't want to come here. And we had that thing over in Birmingham. And my son, he showed it back to me. Yeah. It was like, I went to a game. What was it? It was a game in Auburn against Tennessee. And Terry Henley carried the ball every time, every play.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, man, why don't they? And James was just blocking. He said, man, you don't want to come here because you're not going to run the ball. I was like, bro, I ain't no blocker like that,
What it said, 3 yards in the cloud of dust.
Yeah, 3 yards in a cloud of dust. You got that.
Hey,
Big O.
When Big O was coaching up here in Birmingham at Miles. And me and Mitzi went over to visit him over at the college. So we went in and was watching film. So Mitzi was watching. They was grabbing each other, swinging each other in a circle. So Mitzi said, "What the hell you watching these Pee-wee? Part one." They go look at that. That's my team, Missy. Big O said, that's my team.
Big O
was cool.
Oh, Big O was
Yeah.
great. And he
He
really
was cool, man. He took
He
everything.
gave us a legacy to live on. You know,
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
You know,
It was,
Tommy, I got a chance to see him when they gave me retirement stuff up at Auburn game. I came to that game that night. You know, had a big day for him up there. When Pat Sullivan was in the award and stuff like that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He was great. He was great. So it looks like Mitzi's power went out.
Power went out.
Yeah, I wonder what happened to him.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's scared. I told him he come on over here. He got good power in basketball. over that bar, they got trees straight out over there.
Boy.
Okay.
There he is.
He came back.
Oh,
Yeah, man.
Hey, he paid that bill.
Yeah.
Hey, all about power, man.
I know it's all about power. We got TVA over here in Belfast, the best power in the world.
All you brothers came and you worked hard. You studied, worked hard on the field. So we did our job. We played our role and made it better for those behind us. And
At least we tried.
that was important to me. It was having been there with Henry and the Big O when it was just Henry and who that Reese said something about they tell you not to go across the track.
Yeah,
man, that was the only place to go. Where else will you go?
But you know what?
That's where I met Rush at. That's where I got my first haircut at.
That's where I met. That's where Rush used to drive the bus, and then he'd come back and cut hair. You know.
The only other two blacks that used to come over there is Poon Pine and Longhorn.
He going back to the day.
They the one told me where to go when you went cross the track. You know, you go.
Let me get. I'm sorry, Barbara and Mychal on here. We got to talking, and I got carried away. And they got some questions for y'all. So Barbara and Mychal, welcome. I'm sorry, we just got to talking, telling stories. So Barbara, what you got to say to these guys?
Oh my gosh, it's good to see everybody. See Secedrick and
Good to see you,
big
Barbara.
brothers when I first arrived on campus.
Who was your big brother?
Hey, it's so good to see you guys. Reese and Mitzi. Reese, Mitzi, and Secedrick.
Oh, you in trouble.
You and Sullivan were.
Yeah, you and Lucky, me and Brother Bob.
Yeah, Barbara, you were lucky. For real.
A good looking sister on campus.
Right, I was going to say, not like a flat rock or something.
Oh, boy.
Y'all got
you man. I said, no, they got one good looking sister on campus. I tell you.
Yeah.
I think back in the day, what they basically did, they went and found the ugliest girls in the world, and then they gave them scholarships. I was like,
y'all need to cut
what happened?
Hey.
Honestly, this is true. When we first went, you had to send a picture with your application.
Yeah.
You did have to send a picture.
Yes.
You know?
That's what happened.
You did.
I don't know how they got me. I didn't have to send one.
Mychal, you got a question for the guys?
Absolutely. And Thom, I started to text you and say, hey, Thom, Barbara and I are part of the show. You know?
I forgot, man. That's not fault. I owe y'all one, but go ahead.
Okay. First of all, I want to say it's great to see all you guys there. I met Butterball briefly hanging out over there at the dorm with Mitzi, and then like a flash, he was gone. So I don't know what happened to Butterball, but Secedrick and Reese and Mitzi were all there while I was there. I have a question for you guys. And I know we all are probably on the same page when it comes to the regime change down at Auburn. Thom knows how I feel about that, so I won't go into that. But what I would like to ask you guys and we have 3 running backs here. We got Secedrick, Mitzi, and Butterball. How would you have liked to play? And I'm not going to necessarily say in Malzahn's offense, but in this present-day spread format where they spread it out and give the ball to the running back and let them run the ball and find their holes. So I'll start with you, Mitzi, since you're the senior tailback here. How would you feel about playing in an offense like that?
Number one, I would disagree by me taking kinesiology and all these other classes and stuff. I don't like my offensive linemen backing up when I'm going forward.
Well,
So that's a big problem there. But
Okay. That makes sense. That's a valid point.
I had that at Auburn.
Right.
we had-
I know you did. Yes. I know
we
you
had
did.
that at Auburn when they were
that
backing up.
was most of the linemen being
But in the spread offense, yeah, they were pushed back rather than backing up.
Yeah,
But
that's what it was.
and this new spread stuff, teams that have aggressive linemen that get out and explode off the ball, those are the teams that you want to attend and run for. But spread offenses, I don't know. I got 50-50. I don't like all this East and West stuff.
Mhm.
I really don't, because we have some of the fastest kids at Auburn in the country, and they
Right.
spend more time going East and West than North and South.
Right.
So that's because the line is backing up. But then
Right.
today,
Hey, go ahead.
I would say I would rather play in the time that I played in.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, because you could get through that whole side.
I just said I'd rather play with an up. Yeah, that's true too. That's because people you had to get around the people backing up.
You said had to hold your block 30 minutes when you were back.
Cedric,
You're breaking
your
up. I
comment?
can't hear what you're saying.
I said had to hold the block 30 minutes when you and Mac hit the hole.
Go ahead, Michael.
Man, you never held a block 30 minutes.
No,
Okay. Cedric, your comment on that.
my comment on it is when I was at Auburn, we ran a veer. That meant you got in a 3-point stand. So you really didn't see the field. And it was totally different. I learned more as a running back at Dallas in 6 weeks than I did in Auburn in 4 years. I mean, they stood you up and they showed you, they told you where the guys were going to be. And this spread offense that they're running nowadays, even if the guys are backing up, I'll back up a little bit to see some daylight.
Yeah.
I like the spread offense if I'm in it. But like I say, when I was at Auburn, we didn't have no spread offense. And my son, he look at film. And by the way, Mitzi, give me some of those films you took, man. You took all the good games. I don't have no games.
No, I did not.
The little roll of things, right? I'm like, but like I
I
said,
did not take any films.
you took all the pictures.
Hey, I was given.
Hold on. Nobody has any film of us when we were playing because you took them all. You took all the pictures.
I'm gonna have to give you a number for a guy up in New York City that has all the video films of everybody that played at Auburn.
Well, you need to send that to me because I figure you got them. You sent them to them.
Hey, I need to do something right quick. This was the Pioneer Reunion show, and so we got a gift basket we're going to give away for Christmas. And what am I supposed to? I'm supposed to say something or do something. I think you're gonna put it in the chat and tell me what to do.
Come on, get over here. Come on.
Okay.
Anyway, go ahead, Michael. Emily,
Okay.
Pioneer.
Okay.
who's up, Barbara or Michael?
I wanted to finish. Let me give Sullivan an opportunity to comment on
No, I
that.
was just gonna.
And then
Yeah,
I
go
have a
ahead.
question for Reese, playing the tight end position. Sullivan, how would you like to play in the spread offense as a running back?
Well, it didn't really matter because when we was at Auburn, we was introduced to the V offense by what the name? Barfield. You remember, man?
Barfield.
Yeah. But our freshman year, we was running out there high back, but I had never seen nothing like that in the world, man. The fullback lined up 3 yards behind the quarterback. And the tailback sitting back there 7 yards. They run a trap, you know. They had me at fullback and I played tailback all my life. They run a trap when I go by the quarterback there. I'm standing back there with the linebackers asking why didn't he hand me the ball. They were doing the trap play. Ran the wall and Wade Wallace couldn't spin around fast enough to get the ball to.
That's crazy.
Okay.
I'll tell you another thing was weird. You know, you raced all your life that all the even numbers to the right and all the odd numbers to the left.
Oh yeah.
They coming there, Suge Jordan had us running the even numbers to the left and the odd numbers to the right. Man, we were running these numbers
all the freshmen had to relearn.
Hey, but Tom, the reason they did that is because Coach Sturdy was left-handed.
That's right. That's right.
He's like, okay, the rest of y'all, all y'all right-handed. It don't matter.
Okay. All right. My question for Reese. My question for Reese. Reese too tall, McCall, that is.
Yeah.
Reese, you played tight end at Auburn, and I have to say that you went down to the Senior Bowl and you caught more passes in that one game than you did your whole career at Auburn. So Auburn has never been known for using the tight ends, but under this current regime, they use them even less. What you have done playing in this Malzahn offense as a tight end?
Well, looking at it through the years, Mike, they was basically forgetting about the tight end.
Yeah.
And for me, when I was down there, Haley was the pass catcher and I was the blocker. So every time we got to throw a pass, they would pull me out. So I was fortunate enough to get a chance to go out to the East-West Shrine game out in San Francisco. And I got a chance to get some balls I did. Then when I got back home, they invited me down to the Senior Bowl, which Doug Williams was down there.
Yeah.
Then they had Ted Marshall-Broder, who was the head coach of Baltimore at the time. And I'm not realizing, but Doug threw me 3 passes down in the Senior Bowl. I get time when the draft come around. Dallas had already told me they was going to draft me in the 4th round, so I'm not even thinking about no 1st round, you know. So when I get the phone call,
Neither way any of us.
I'm not lying. I told all of them. I said, somebody called down to my room. I'm down in my room. And this is a ride. This is the future of all. Say hey, Uncle Tom.
Hey.
That's Mariah. She's from New York.
Hey, Mariah.
But anyway, Tom, I'm down in my room. And then the phone rang. Reese McCall, you just been drafted in the 1st round. I hung up on him. I don't want nobody one of my white buddies up there messing with. So after a minute, they called back. And then the secretary said, Mr. McCall, do not hang up. And then she put Ted on there. He said, Reese, it's Ted Marshall-Broder. This is not a joke. You've been drafted in the 1st round. Then I almost hung up again because I thought he was lying. But like I said, that's how it happened. He was head coach down in the Senior Bowl. He got a chance to see me practice. They already knew I could block. But like I said, Doug, I thank Doug every day. He threw me 3 balls down there.
Yeah.
But one more thing, boy,
Go ahead.
Tell Barbara. Tell my wife you got home safe that night we went out. I got her home safe. I said to make her home. Yeah, she's sitting right here. Tell her you made it home safe.
That's too much information, Reese.
Just go ahead and tell her you're sorry.
I'm sorry. That's the whole story.
I wasn't
So
going
much
to
of a
get up.
mess.
Hey, well, listen, before we go, I got one more. We're gonna go a little longer.
Hey, Mike.
But for the audience out there, we got several books: Henry Harris, mine, James Owens' film, and a book by Big D, who was one of the first basketball players at the University of Alabama, Birmingham, who's always on. We're gonna do a gift basket for Christmas. So if you tell them to comment Pioneer. If you want to be entered, you have to make a comment regarding the word Pioneer. And we will award these at the end of the day today. We'll randomly choose a winner. We won't do it by the end of the show. We're going to do it by the end of the day. So if you're out there, you want to get a great gift basket with several sports, 3 sports books and a film regarding Pioneers, that'd be great. So let's take about 5 more minutes here, guys. And who else has got something they want to say? So Coach Jordan recruited all of us, right? Is that everybody here played for Coach Jordan? Yeah.
Right.
That was Coach Jordan. You know, we have to give him credit. He ushered in the integration in the Deep South. Before Alabama, I don't, sometimes I think they might have tricked him into getting us, but anyway, it turned out very well. And then I think Coach Barfield came behind him. Go ahead, Matt.
Well, the thing was, when the 4 of us were there, when ball, and Big Gene Lorendo was over there, and we were all on offense. And the problem he had was he didn't have nobody to catch us. He's like, damn, Coach Jordan, we got to go get some of them over here. You talking about integration. It didn't take long because he saw the whiting on the wall, bro. I can tell you that.
Sometimes, hey, we used to say you could tell by who was on the field if we were ahead or behind. Because if we were behind on the big game, all 3 of us was in the game.
All of us, everybody.
All 4 of us,
Well, no, I say for Coach Jordan though, he he recruited me. Coach Jordan came to Montgomery, and he wouldn't come to your house, but I was working over at the Adams Street Drugstore, putting labels on envelopes. That was my job. I was getting that $300-400 a week. Man, I worked right behind them, in the room behind them. He was a very sincere man, and
he was.
He made the promise that if I came to Auburn, that he would let me run the ball, because that was the whole thing after seeing James up there for the time that I saw him and what he was doing. Never carried the ball, and then when he did, he scored a touchdown. So I don't figure if you're scoring every time you carry the ball, I'm gonna just keep giving you the ball, right? Like football was at Jeff Davis, right? And the thing is, and he said, "Son, if you come to Auburn, I'm gonna let you run the ball." So when I left there, I carried it like 485 times. So man, I'm straight.
Coach. He was good to me. I got there in 10 months. I walked on. I had a full scholarship, started for 3 years. And, you guys, you were talking about Marcia Broda. One of the guys I'd like to just make a comment about was Ray Perkins, who passed last week or so. Ray Perkins I played in the American Bowl down in Tampa as a senior, and Ray Perkins was there and told me they were going to draft me at New England. And they did. And I always had a good relationship with Coach Perkins, and just want to wish his family the best. He was a good guy. Any other final comments or questions from anybody?
I want to know if you still got that article when you guys with Sports Illustrated when you wouldn't shave. Butterball wouldn't shave.
I still got it. Hey, Jab saved us. Jab got us back in there. Jab, they told Jab, you know, they said, well, you going home. Jab said, I ain't going nowhere. So Jab got us back in there, and it was an interesting thing. It really was. One of those things. So let me wrap this up. I appreciate it. Everybody has been great. This was Reese's idea. Reese came up with this idea that we have a reunion show. And
well, like I said, I told you, Mac. I call you all the time. I said, man, it'd be nice to get all the guys together, especially Butterball, because I think I got a chance to hook up with him one time, and I hadn't seen him since. But it's good to see you, Butterball.
Oh, good.
Yeah, same here.
We'll make a commitment that when this COVID
my phone breaking up.
we'll get everybody together, and that'd be great.
Anyone, well, Mac, no, when he ever in Beverly, I'm here. I'm back.
I got you, brother.
Yeah.
So
I'll be down there in January.
Let me wrap up. I'm gonna wrap up with a. You talked about Coach Jordan in his left hand. Coach Jordan also had his 7 Ds of success. The 7 Ds were discipline, desire, determination, dedication, dependability, desperation, and damn it anyway. And the last word for today is I still love to dwell upon what awaits me, the plans I've made, and those yet to be made. I find that looking backward makes the looking forward even more delicious. So we want to thank all of you for being with us today. We appreciate you. Thank Mychal, Barbara, the communicator, Emily, who did a great job this week. Thank you, Lil Em. I know it was tough wrangling all these guys together. I want to thank the pioneers, Mitzi, Secedrick, Reese, Sullivan, Butterball. Thank our sponsor, Best Girl. If you're interested in having your business be a sponsor, get in touch with us at Thom at Best Girl. Thank the communicator. And that is a wrap for today. Enjoy yourself. Make every day count. Happy holidays and peace.